Hello, my name is Jasmine Lee, and I am not your mama's astrologer. For those of you who watch this on Instagram and TikTok, my deepest apologies. They don't allow me to post the whole video, so I do know that it cuts off at some point during my 20-minute segment. It doesn't go the full 20. So if you want to listen to it in its completion, my recommendation is to watch it on YouTube, listen to it on podcasts, wherever you're streaming podcasts, and do that anyway, because I could use the likes, follows, all of that, subscriptions, and all of those good things. I so appreciate your support. It means everything to me. All of the world is a small business. It starts somewhere to get real big. And I appreciate all of you who are at the very beginning of my journey in hopes that it gets bigger and better every day. Well, welcome to the week. Everything is direct, motherfuckers. We got Venus went direct. We got Mercury going direct. Everything is direct. So that's dope. Now, all of the sudden, there is the feeling of movement, which is great when there's been so much time of reflection, of conflict, of review, of a lot of things we're having to do different. The only downside is now it's time to do it. Now it's time to put the pedal to the metal. Now it's time to actually work on what ails us. And some of us love that. Some of us love the energy that allows us to propel ourselves forward, and others of us take that as a personal offense to our own procrastination and our own wanting to disengage or disassociate from reality. Totes. Kudos to both of you out there. Not any of us are alike, and we all deal with energy differently. We're coming off a big full moon. It was to me, a big capping off of these deep eclipses that we've had in Aries Libra, asking us so much about our relationships and so much about our self-care and so much about our bodies and so much about our self-love and love in general and partnership, that it's nice to put a bookend on all of that energy. It's starting to flow different now. Everything is starting to make a little bit more sense now. The only problem is that there is a lot going on this week that is like intense. It's fiery. It's a little stubborn. It's a little spicy. It's a little mood day. It's a little get off my cloud kind of vibes. Tuesday, Mercury is moving into Aries. So before that, it's been in Pisces, which is more dreamy, more thought-provoking. Our dreams have been really intense and deep. And now it's like action thoughts. Now it's like, but what am I going to do about it? And if you get stressed by action verbs, if you get stressed by the doing of it all, then, your brain is going to be firing on all cylinders. So sleeplessness can happen. Ideas popping up at 3:00 in the morning. So make sure you have your pen and paper next to your bed. Those kinds of things, the aha moments, the contemplations that are the first contemplations, because Aries rules that first house. It starts the astrological wheel. So when we think about it that way, when that is in our thoughts, we can innovate. We can come up with new. We can desire new. We can start thinking about new thoughts. And I love that for us, because I'm telling you, I'm pretty sick of my own thoughts and could go for some new. So I open those floodgates to myself. I hope that that feels good to you too. It's also quicker. So if you're someone who moves a little slower, it might feel a little staticky. It might feel a little intense. There might be a lot going on in how people are talking, because it rules our communication. I can already feel it coming. I feel my voice gets more intense. The cadence of the points I'm trying to make are more fiery, have more gusto. So listen, the other side of that is control. When you are passionate about something, when you are trying to help someone, that is the sunny side of control. So you might not enjoy other people wanting to control the situation. Conversations, you might notice those of us who are fiery in nature are lit right now. We're fire. guys. We got a lot to say. And if that kind of energy is hard for you, this little period of time is going to feel really intense. Like probably right now you feel like I'm yelling at you. But as I tell my children, you'll know when I'm yelling at you. I am not. I'm just fiery, and all of that energy moving in a fiery direction gives me gusto. It gives me an added inflection in what and how I'm talking and what and how I'm trying to express it. And so it's an interesting dichotomy because me, I like it. Me, I don't like it when my thoughts are in watery signs because there's just too much room for my own melancholic bullshit to come and ruin the show. It's harder for me to have self-worth during a watery Mercury for myself. It's harder for me to get out of bed. It's harder for me to deal with excess, with kids everywhere, with all of that stuff. So I welcome the fire Mercury. Maybe some of you can embrace it. And if it's not your usual, if you're more of a watery, earthy thinker, then maybe you can just sit back and appreciate all them fire people being lit because they're going to light their own lives on fire for better or worse. Great things come out of inspiration and those aha moments, but also we can make a big mess of it because we don't think before we react. Aries is a very reactive sign, and there's a lot of Aries. We're in Aries season now. Mercury is in Aries. Mercury is also on Wednesday going to be right next to Neptune. And I kind of love this because Neptune moved into Aries, and so now there's this when I tap into it, it just is so spicy and yummy because it is bringing dreams to the surface that are like, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't thought of this before. Oh my gosh, of course it's fill in the blank for you. Like allow yourself to feel super inspired. The bad thing about a lot of Aries energy is it doesn't have great follow through. So we might be getting these, I'm going to write a book or I'm going to take a dance class or I'm going to whatever, write it down because maybe you're not going to follow through with it in this cycle, but whatever the I want, whatever the spicy is, whatever the flavoring you want to be sprinkling over your life right now, pay attention because then when astrology chills a little bit, it has a hot minute to think about it, you'll want these ideas because then when you get frustrated again, you're like, oh, but my fire self said I wanted to act, but my fire self said I needed a massage, but my fire self said I need to write a whole book. Which hashtag been what I've been doing forever and yet no book. Where is it? I don't know. So I love this energy personally. I also know that it can be challenging. It's people saying all the things. It's people maybe being a little bit self-focused, which if you're low road version of that, a little selfish, a little shitty, a little me first. So you'll see that in your kids. You'll see it in classrooms. Me first. It's my turn. I want to do it because we want to do it. Okay. Me too. I want to do it. So how do you combat that energy of I want, I desire, I am this with the rest of the world who has their own wants, desires, I ams, I wishes? So keep that in your back pocket. This week it's like fire meets stubborn. And so, parenting can be extra difficult. Trying to get on someone else's wavelength can be extra difficult. Thursday, Mars then moves into Leo, which listen, guys, we love this for Mars. Because I got so excited, I sucked in air and now I'm choking on it. If that's not a nice exclamation point to all the energy I was talking about. So yeah, Thursday then Mars moves into Leo, which is another fire sign. And I love this for Mars because Mars has been in Cancer for months. And it's been so hard and they felt so deflated. This poor Martian energy, this poor warrior inside of us has been like, but I don't know what to do. Well, Leo knows what to do. Leo also wants the attention for it, wants the fanfare, wants the drama, wants the fiction of it all to come raining down in a sea of things going on. So, with all this Aries energy and now Mars going into Leo, we're hot to trot, okay? Our egos are off the charts. Our, opinions and what we need pushes through. And on some levels, that's great because #boundaries. This is good. We all want and we all need. But when we all want and need at the same time, well, that can create some drama. That can create some unnessa. Okay, like there can be a lot of stuff going on this week where you're like, oh my God, that person just cut me off on the road. Oh my God, my kids refuse to share. Oh my God, that person just cut in front of me in line. Who does that? Aren't we grown-ass adults? No, we're not. That's the answer this week. No, we ain't. None of us are accessing the deep, mature versions of ourselves this week. We want to be cutting loose a little bit. We want to say the things a little bit. We want it to be our turn a little bit. And I'm so here for that. I think we all need to be living our best lives. I think we all deserve to be in the conversation and be important and be noticed and be here in this life as ourselves. But when there is this much fire, this much need, and it's met with the world at large, well, listen, good luck with your partners. Good luck with anybody you be trying to have deep connections with, because there's going to be a little dicey, especially if you have a lot of fire in your chart, especially or if you're the opposite, and then you have to be fielding all these ridiculous fiery people who are a bucket full of disaster, and you have to carry that disaster back and forth across your life with your coworkers, with your, whatever. So are you getting the memo? It's energetic, it's fiery, and it can be fun. I suggest we all have our own proverbial popcorns waiting for us, and we're sitting mowing down on them because there's going to be like fireworks. This is like the shit show that we've all been waiting for. This is reality TV played out in real time. And I love that for me, because I don't mind a good show from time to time. And I have a lot of fire in my chart, so I can meet that energy. So if you cannot meet that energy, this week is going to be like, holy moly. The best medicine and your homework, as I try to bring my fire down, the best homework for this is to be curious, is to meet people like you're meeting them for the first time. All these preconceived notions that we have about our checkout lady, that we have about the person driving next to us, that we have about our coworkers, our family, our kids, our spouses, our whatevers, is what holds us back collectively. When you need someone else to be a certain way for your comfort, then you're trying to manipulate and control the situation in a way that isn't healthy for that person and for you. So this week, your homework is to drop the boundary of that. Drop the boxes. Quit trying to file people away into, oh, I don't like that person, or that person always. The word always is so containing. If something is always, or if someone is expected to always be something, then you aren't energetically giving them the room to grow. Nor are you growing by making assumptions about every person that you're in regular contact with. I think this is why family dynamics can be so complex, because we expect our family, the people we know and are closest to react in certain ways, to be a certain thing, and to show up in a certain kind of way. And how limiting! Oh my gosh! I remember my partner when he first met me. It was the funniest thing, because he said to me, and I hope he's okay with me sharing this, but he said to me, it's hard to get a read on you because I never know if what you're saying is real. Because I am a Libra, guys. I will one day say the sky is blue and the next day say it's purple. And then when someone tries to call me out on it, I'll be like, well, yesterday I thought it was blue and today it's purple. Because I am that way. That's who I am as a person, and it is consistent, unfortunately. It's consistently inconsistent. And as he got to know me, he saw that pattern. He started to see how consistently inconsistent I am and I was. And so the challenge then, having that as a partner, sorry, love of my life, this is his challenge, is understanding that sometimes I can be consistent though too. And allowing me the room to show up consistently when I want to, as well as inconsistently when I need to. And for him, he is a more earthy person. So when my fire meets his earth, for me, it's patience. Like, I need to give him the room to have time to himself, to have quiet time. My nightmare life is too much quiet time. But as we've been in relationship together, and that's what he needs to feel safe, that's what I give when I can. Sorry, love, don't always do it well. But it's what I try to give him, knowing that that's what nourishes him best. Does he have a right to change that? Abso-fucking-lutely. He also has a lot of fire in his chart too. If all of a sudden he doesn't need, he's had to compromise too and doesn't need as much quiet and doesn't need as much whatever box I put him into. You know what I'm saying? It's like you cannot expect a person to be in the same iteration of self all the time. We must expect paradox. I'm walking paradox. So maybe someday I don't want to be that. Maybe someday I get sick of running around in mental circles around myself. And I want to slow it down a little bit. If he wasn't willing to see me different, to allow me to be different, then what do you think would happen to our relationship? It would run into a wall, because if he wants to grow and I'm holding him back, or if I want to grow and he holds me back, that's what creates resentment. That's what creates stories. And that's what creates victimhood within relationship, is when we have a false expectation that we aren't growing beings. And that is so the vibe of this week, you guys. You cannot expect someone, say you have a coworker who you have disliked always. Well, listen, you're limiting them by energetically assuming that you dislike them all the time. And so your work is to really observe the people you have been observing for a long time. These are your long-term connections, your coworkers, your family, your friends, your partners, your kids. And I want you to start seeing them different. Imagine if something you believed to always be true about them, you could imagine a different side of them. You could imagine that this quiet person that you've always known all of a sudden found their voice. And how would that change for them and for you relating? What if you gave the people in your life room to breathe, to not have to be the thing you count on them to be? That's the vibe of this week. And then with Mars going into Leo, it needs to be seen. We must be seen. And if we don't, we're going to get bratty as hell. Oh my God. Are you guys ready for some tantrums this week? Bust out the popcorn, the chocolate show. You sit down and you just watch that shit play out. Because if we do not get the room that we need, or we want to break out of some constraints that we've been in and we are still being held back, oh my God, are we going to be sassy boots? So look all around you. Look at the road rage. Look at the way in which people enact Leo energy, because it also rules the house of children. So our children might be extra fiery right now, and our inner children. As adults, the inner child in us is going to be super turn. So tantrums. So, be ready. It also might be really exciting. There might be some firsts coming. There might be some new ground to break. The weather might be getting nicer. We might have some new energy that we didn't have before. So we can always take the high road of this energy and choose to be hella inspired and choose to see the world from a children's view, which is beginner's mind. And I love that for us with Mercury being in Aries, because that's the beginning. These are the first thoughts that you've ever thought of this new thought sequence. So how are you going to change your thoughts to change your life? And then on Saturday, the sun moves into Taurus. Taurus is stubborn. Taurus wants its creature comforts. Taurus wants. Taurus is about, I have. What do I have? What are my assets? And if we aren't satisfied with our assets, what do you think is going to happen this weekend? There is this big crash of what we want and what we have and where we need to be, but where we're not yet. And so there can create a patience spectrum for us all, of want but don't have but don't want anything new. And Taurus is here to help us take a little stock, a little inventory of how our home, our foundations, what is springing? What are the seeds that we planted that are now growing? That's what Taurus is here to look over for us. So thank you, Taurus, because it helps us re-foundation what needs work, what needs caulking. I love that word. And with all this fire, though, it's like going to be so hard to take it all serious. So then we're going to get, hijinks will ensue. Very coyote energy. And then on Sunday, Venus is going to sextile Uranus and Mercury is going to sextile Pluto. So how we love and how we think is going to be making positive aspects to what we change and how we transform. Yes! It is time to do relationship different. It is time to do thoughts different. It's fresh. It's a clean slate. It's what we've all kind of been waiting and hoping for, but now that it's upon us, feels a little daunting and big. It's big energy. It's big. And if you aren't big or you don't like big, well, you better start getting down with the program because there's going to be some stubbornness, some resistance, and some tantrums if you don't like it. And then Sunday, we get to end the week with the sun in Taurus squaring Mars in Aries. So it's this hardship of wills. It's a battle of your will versus other. It's a battle of how you're seeing yourself versus how you're seeing your fighting self. It is the gumption inside of us. And it's so important to take stock on where we're at with that. And I pulled the card. Why? Why? If things break down, if fights ensue, if you're feeling frustrated, if this energy is not your vibe, why? Why isn't it? This is the question. Why do I put my partner in a box? Why can't I change? Why can't they change? Why? It's like the first thing the kids start to learn how to do, and then you get driven insane. Why, Mom? Why? And then you die, and then you forget what's it all for anyway, because why has been asked so many times. But we don't do that anymore as adults, and we really need to. So be curious, be open, be honest, be dramatic when you need to, stand your ground, have some boundaries, get the attention if that's what you need, but also let people be themselves. Let people not be themselves. Let people be open to change. Because it is our own limitations that limit us the most. And it is our own limitations put on others that limit them the most. So if we were all supporting each other to do one big change, what would it be? Ask your people, ask all the people in your life, if you could change something about your life right now, what would it be? And you write that shit down and you put it on a Post-it note and you goddamn stick it to your mirrors and your refrigerators and your to-do lists, and you work on changing that one thing that you want to change. And then you work on letting the other people in your life change the one thing they want to change. And then we rejoice. So good luck. Stay calm if you can. Be patient. Have a sense of humor. Pay attention to those who are needing attention. Just give it to them. And also allow people to move, shift, change. Expect paradox. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week.